It was a sleepy Wednesday morning when Kara Norris walked into Ridgefield High School for the first time. The school itself was nothing special, a red brick building nestled between pastures and oil rigs in the heart of Texas. Students drove lifted trucks, talked about football as if it were religion, and knew everyone's last name by heart, except hers. She wore a baggy army green hoodie, black jeans, and boots scuffed from long walks on dirt roads. Her auburn hair was tied in a tight braid, and she carried no books, no phone, just a single notebook tucked under her arm. She had the presence of a shadow in a sunlit room, present but barely noticeable unless you paid attention. Ms. Whitman, the school secretary, offered her a forced smile. "Welcome to Ridgefield High, sweetheart. Here's your schedule. You sure you're in the right place?" Kara met her eyes. "Yes, ma'am," that was all she said. By second period, the whisper mill had started. "Who's the new girl?" "She's weird quiet. I heard she moved here from Montana." "Nah, someone said Arizona." "My cousin swears she's in witness protection, but no one really knew, and Kara wasn't offering details. Trent Maddox was a king in Ridgefield High. Not because he earned respect, but because he ruled through fear. He was a senior linebacker with more muscle than sense, the kind of kid whose dad taught him that pain builds character, and who took that lesson out on weaker students. He had two modes, loud and violent. Teachers tolerated him because his father donated generously to the booster club, and the principal had a losing football record to worry about. When Trent first saw Kara, she was sitting alone at lunch in the far corner of the cafeteria, sketching quietly in her notebook. He gave her a once-over and snorted. "Hey, hoodie girl," he barked, walking over. "You lost or just antisocial?" She didn't look up neither. The cafeteria paused. No one talked to Trent like that. A hush spread across the tables. Trent leaned in, slapping her notebook closed. "You got a smart mouth." Kara looked at him, not with fear, not even annoyance, just calm, like he was some animal at a zoo that she didn't need to worry about unless the glass broke. "You should leave," she said. He slapped her. Hard. The sound cracked like a rifle through the cafeteria. Everyone froze. Phones were already out. Videos rolling. Kara didn't fall, didn't even flinch. Her head turned with the impact, her braids swinging slightly behind her. But when she looked back at Trent, her face was expressionless. "You sure you want to do this?" she asked, voice level. Trent stepped back, suddenly unsure. Something in her eyes, something ancient, made his stomach twist. Coach Daniels stormed over seconds later. "Maddox, office now." By seventh period, the video was everywhere. Reddit, TikTok, Instagram. Captioned, "Girl doesn't even blink after bully slaps her. Chills." The footage was grainy, but Kara's face was clear, calm, unshaken, like a stone in a storm. That night, Trent's truck wouldn't start. When he opened the hood, the engine was gone. Not stolen, just disassembled. Each part laid out with surgical precision across the gravel of the parking lot. Not a single scratch, no fingerprints. Security footage? Glitched out between 2:03 and 2:17 a.m. static. No signs of forced entry. But Trent had left the truck locked. It was as if someone had walked through steel and shadowed through time. By Thursday, people were whispering, "She didn't even move when he hit her. You think she's a black belt or something?" "Nah, bro, she's like trained, military." "FBI kid? What if she's like Chuck Norris's niece or some crazy crap?" No one laughed when someone said Chuck Norris, not even ironically. In PE class on Friday, Kara moved like she didn't want to be noticed. But when Coach Simmons asked everyone to pair up for self-defense drills, Trent's friend Bryce smirked and said, "I'll take hoodie girl." They circled up. Kara nodded politely. Bryce charged like a bull, aiming to grab her wrists and yank her down. What happened next was so fast it took 3 slow-motion replays on someone's phone to understand. Kara sidestepped, twisted, and used Bryce's momentum to send him flipping onto his back. She didn't even touch him, just redirected his weight. He landed with a thud and stayed down. "You okay?" she asked softly. Bryce just groaned. Later that day, 2 students found their lockers filled with strange notes. Each one read, "You slapped the wrong girl. no signature, just a single photo clipped to the top. Chuck Norris, 1985, shirtless, holding a pair of nunchucks. Ms. Celia Vega, the history teacher, was a decorated former Marine who had served 2 tours in Iraq. She was tough but fair, and she noticed things most teachers missed. She watched Kara with growing curiosity. The way the girl never raised her voice. The way she moved, graceful but controlled, like a predator choosing stillness over noise. Like someone trained to be dangerous but disciplined enough not to show it. After class one day, Ms. Vega asked her to stay behind. "I know who your father is," she said plainly. Kara stiffened. Ms. Vega smiled. "I was stationed in Arizona. There's a ranch near Flagstaff. Private. No flyovers. Government clearance. Rumor was someone very special lived there. An old warrior and his family." Kara looked at her and said nothing. "You don't have to confirm it," Ms. Vega continued, "but I know control when I see it. That slap? I saw the video. You didn't react because you were trained not to, but that kind of training doesn't come cheap. Or easy." Kara's voice was quiet. "I didn't want trouble. Trouble came anyway." Kara nodded. Ms. Vega lowered her voice. "I won't tell anyone, but if you ever need help, you come to me. Not everything has to be handled like a war." That weekend, Trent called a meeting in the woods behind the school. 5 of his closest friends. Angry, humiliated, and desperate to get his power back, he hatched a plan. "She thinks she's some untouchable freak," he snarled. "Let's see how untouchable she is when we drag her out in front of the whole school at the dance next week. Make her beg." "What if she hits back?" someone asked. "She won't," Trent sneered. "She's all talk. Just freaky, not strong." But Bryce didn't agree. He still had bruises on his back. "We shouldn't mess with her," Trent scoffed. "Scared? Hell yes." That Monday morning, all 5 of the boys who met in the woods found something taped inside their lockers, a single sheet of paper. On it, a list of their names, their addresses, and their parents' workplaces. At the bottom, a quote, "Violence is my last option, but it is an option. Chuck Norris." No one spoke of it out loud, but every one of them got quieter that week, especially Trent and Kara. She just kept walking the halls listening, waiting. In the days leading up to the school dance, Ridgefield High was buzzing. Decorations were set, DJ booked. Rumors of a fight of something big going down circulated through every hallway. Kara stayed quiet. She walked with purpose. She sat with the few students who others ignored. The freshman who stuttered, the girl with hearing aids, the boy who wore comic book shirts like armor. They followed her like lost ducklings, not because she told them to, but because she made them feel safe. The night before the dance, Miss Vega found Kara outside the school, sitting on the bleachers in the dark. "You ready?" she asked Kara. Nodded. "I won't start it, but you'll finish it, if I have to." Miss Vega looked into her eyes. "Does your father know?" Kara hesitated. "He always knows." The Ridgefield High Spring Dance was the town's event of the season. Parents volunteered, teachers decorated, students arrived in trucks wrapped in LED strips, blasting country music or rap, depending on who had the O-cable. Inside the gymnasium, fairy lights hung from basketball hoops. A photo booth stood beside a table of stale cupcakes and soda. The air smelled like hairspray, deodorant, and teen hormones. Everyone was watching everyone else, but they were all waiting for the same thing. Not the music, not the food, the showdown. Because everyone knew Trent Maddox had something planned, and Kara Norris, silent, strange, and unreadable, was going to be at the center of it. She entered the gym exactly at 8:13 p.m., wearing the same green hoodie she always wore, a pair of dark jeans and combat boots. No dress, no makeup, just calm steps, as if walking into a classroom instead of a trap. A silence rippled through the room like wind across wheat. Trent was waiting, wearing a tux 2 sizes too tight, his fists clenched, and a wicked smirk on his face. His friends stood, scattered throughout the room, some near the exits, some filming with phones hidden in jackets. This was supposed to be his moment, the moment he reclaimed control. After the slap went viral, the internet laughed. He slapped a girl, and she didn't even blink. Beta energy. Chuck Norris's ghost daughter? He had become a meme. Now he would become a legend. He stepped toward Kara, the crowd parting around him like water. "Hey, freak," he called. "Nice of you to show up." Kara didn't stop walking. She passed the dance floor, past the refreshments, past the eyes glued to her. "Too scared to dress up?" Trent asked. "Or did Daddy say you could only come out if you wore your tough guy costume?" She turned slowly. "Are you finished?" "Not even close." He pulled something from behind his back. Her sketchbook, the one he had slapped closed the first time they met. "Found this in the art room," he sneered, flipping through it. "What's this? Drawings of people crying? Oh wait, that's me." He held up a sketch, his own face mid-slump, bruised, defeated. Kara had drawn it perfectly, almost prophetically. Laughter burst from the crowd, half shocked, half thrilled. Trent's face turned red. "You think you're funny?" he growled. Kara stepped forward. "Number, I think you're afraid," he snapped. "You're dead, Norris." He lunged forward with a fist raised. Students screamed. Phones flew into the air. Teachers froze. Ms. Vega shouted across the gym, "Stop!" But Kara didn't move like a girl in danger. She moved like she'd been here before. She pivoted just as Trent's punch came flying. Not only did she dodge it, she caught his wrist mid-swing, stepped inside his guard, and twisted his arm behind his back in a motion so fluid it looked like choreography. Trent screamed. The crowd gasped. Two phones clattered to the ground. Kara leaned in and whispered loud enough for only him to hear. "My father taught me that restraint is power. I wanted to believe that." Then she let go. Trent stumbled, turned, and tried again. This time he came at her with a two-handed shove meant to knock her down. She let him. She went back with the momentum, rolled and came up on her feet like a cat. Calm, precise. Watching the crowd had gone utterly silent. Kara remembered the dojo back home. Her father's voice. Gravel, deep but always calm. "You don't fight because you're angry. You fight because someone else can't. You don't show off, you survive. They'll laugh, let them. But when it's time, end it." She had trained in deserts and forests, kicked wooden posts until they splintered, learned to hear before she saw, and strike before they moved. Chuck Norris wasn't just her father. He was her legacy. But she had chosen to walk away from that life after her mother died, to try and be normal. But some men didn't let you be normal. Trent, now enraged and panting, charged a final time, aiming a wild punch that would have broken Kara's nose, if he weren't so predictable. This time, she didn't dodge. She moved forward fast. Too fast for anyone to react. In a blur, she spun on one foot, perfect balance, and delivered a roundhouse kick so fast, so clean, it hit Trent on the side of the face and launched him sideways like a sack of flour. He flew into the snack table, shattered the punch bowl, and landed in a heap of cupcakes and shame. Gasps echoed through the gym. Music cut. The room fell into stunned silence. And then cheers, wild, uncontrollable cheering, phones everywhere. TikToks uploading by the second. "Chuck Norris's daughter wrecks bully at high school dance," the captions would read. But Kara wasn't looking for fame. She stood quietly, breathing slow, chest still, as if she'd just finished her morning run. Outside, two black SUVs pulled into the parking lot. From one stepped Chuck Norris himself. Denim jeans, boots, a flannel shirt rolled at the sleeves, his beard gray, his eyes sharp. He had received the call 20 minutes earlier from Ms. Vega. He didn't ask questions. He just came. The crowd parted for him like wind through wheat. Kara turned, her eyes softened. "Dad," she said. He nodded once. "Did you finish it?" She gave a faint smile. With a round house, he almost smiled. "You always were better at it than me." By Monday, the entire school had changed. Trent Maddox was suspended indefinitely. His father pulled funding from the booster club in a rage, but no one cared. Not after seeing what Kara could do. Students started walking taller. Bullies backed off. Ms. Vega was promoted to Dean of Student Safety. And Kara, she was no longer invisible, but she wasn't feared either. She was respected and quietly loved. She began tutoring kids who struggled, teaching self-defense to those who were always picked last. Even shy freshman boys asked to sit near her, hoping her calm strength might rub off. In the teacher's lounge, Miss Vega showed the principal a note left on her desk. It read, "Thank you for believing in me. I could have gone full Chuck, but I stayed Kara. Because of you." The principal looked confused. Ms. Vega just smiled. That night, Kara sat on a wooden porch in the Texas twilight. Her father sipped tea beside her. Crickets chirped. Stars blinked into view. "I wanted to be normal," she said softly. Chuck nodded. "You can't hide who you are, but you get to choose how you use it." She looked out at the horizon. "What if I get it wrong?" "You didn't." He set down his mug and looked her in the eye. "You took a hit, stayed standing, and never struck first. That's strength, Kara. Not mine, yours." She smiled, finally letting the tears come. In the distance, coyotes howled. The world kept spinning, but Ridgefield High would never forget the girl in the green hoodie and the slap that shook the world.